Hare Krishna. I'd like to welcome all of you all to today morning satsang program. Today we are going to be discussing the inner details and the mood of Bahuda Rathyatra. But before I get into the actual discussion on Bahuda Rathyatra, I would first like to help you all understand something very, very important, which will help us understand what is Bahuda Rathyatra in a better way. This is the concept of Viraha. As I had mentioned a few days back, that Jagannath Puri is Viraha Dham. This is the place of separation, of Viraha. So let us spend some time now understanding what exactly is Viraha. What exactly is separation? Lord Krishna is more or less a theoretical teacher, but Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a practical teacher. So he is teaching us the concept of Viraha in a very practical way, what he is going through. There is a place over here called Chatak Parvat. So Chatak Parvat is a sand dune, basically, just next to the beach. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he saw Chatak Parvat, he misunderstood it to be Govardhan Hill. And he began to run towards Chatak Parvat, thinking that he has seen Govardhan. Now this is Jagannath Puri, very far away from Vrindavan. But when he saw sand dune, he felt great separation from Govardhan Hill. And he began to run towards it. When you see the ocean, you would remember Yamuna River and run and jump into it. So, in every aspect, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited what is known as Viraha. So, Viraha is a very confidential and a very deep philosophy. So, the word Viraha means separation. But Viraha has many levels and many depths. So, I'm going to help you all understand what Viraha is. So, for us, this is theoretical, right? We are not experiencing any Viraha. Anybody here experiencing separation from Krishna? Oh, where is Krishna? I have not seen Jagannath. Are we experiencing anything like that? We are not, isn't it? We are happy in our beds. We are happy sleeping. We don't experience Viraha as such. But the great devotees of the Lord are constantly in this mood of Viraha. Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, the Goswamis of Vrindavan. When they were in Vrindavan, they were constantly asking, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? They were running, trying to look for Krishna. So this Viraha is a very interesting concept. Srila Prabhupada, he would say that Viraha excels meeting Krishna. How does Viraha excel meeting? Meeting is, so there is Vipralamba and Sambhoga. Viraha is Vipralamba, which means separation from Krishna, and Sambhoga means union with Krishna. So that's what the two differences are. But how is Viraha more powerful than union? To help us understand this, I'll take you all to Vrindavan, where the Gopis of Vrindavan, when Krishna was with them, they could see Krishna, they could experience Krishna, they could dress Krishna, they could interact with Krishna, they could love Krishna. But when Krishna was not in Vrindavan, when he was in Mathura and Dwarka and all, the Gopis, they were going so mad in absorption in Krishna that they were not able to function normally. And they went to the state of point where they were able to see Krishna everywhere. They're looking at a tamal tree, they're saying this looks like Krishna. They were looking at, a bird that reminded them of Krishna. They're looking at an animal that reminded. So every little bit, when they would go on Govardhan Hill, they would think Krishna did this over here. Maybe he's hiding behind that tree. So the Gopis were going completely mad. And the interesting part was when Krishna was in Vrindavan, there was one Krishna they could see. But when Krishna was not in Vrindavan, they could see hundreds of Krishnas. So imagine the difference between Viraha and union, In Sambhoga, you can experience Krishna, but in Viraha, you can experience Krishna more. So this is what is the topmost feeling which Mahaprabhu inculcated in his Leelas, in his pastimes. He always felt separation from Krishna and he always cried for Krishna. Viraha means external separation, that Krishna is away externally. But internally, in the core of the heart, he is there. But, so this is what is Viraha. Viraha means externally he is not there, but in the heart he is there. That's what Viraha actually means. And when there is external union, when there is Sambhoga, which that means there is external union, but in the heart there is separation. So you know what the Gopis are trying to do? When Krishna is there physically in front of them, they are trying to embrace him and they're trying to bring him more into their hearts. So they are thinking that Krishna is outside. How do I bring him inside? That's what happens during Sambhoga, union. And when Krishna is not there and there's Viraha, he is not there outside, but he is very much there inside. So this is what Vipralamba and Sambhoga is all about. Union and separation is all about. So at the time of union, the Prema Bhakta, he wants to bring to the core of his heart Krishna and embrace him tightly. And in Viraha, he's already in the core of the heart. They want to bring him outside and embrace him tightly. And that's what the whole idea of Viraha and separation is. So our philosophy is Viraha means external separation but internal union. This is the highest. This feeling of being externally separated from Krishna but internally feeling connected to Krishna is the highest. And that's what the whole idea of Viraha is. So when we are in Rathyatra, so we're trying to bring Krishna into our hearts. He is outside. We're trying to bring him into our hearts. And during Bahuda Rathyatra, he is inside. Now we want to bring him outside and experience him outside. That's what the whole idea of Bahuda Rathyatra is. So for 9 days, the Gopis were experiencing Krishna very much inside them because they could experience Krishna internally. And Krishna was very much in Vrindavan. And now the Gopis are thinking, we want to experience him externally. So there is, Bahuda Rathyatra, he's going back to his abode, and then they're going to experience separation, from Krishna externally, but internally they're going to experience union. So technically, there is no separation at all. Technically, there is absolutely no separation from Krishna. It's only a matter of internal, external. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is constantly crying in this mood of separation, and he is constantly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So, when Radharani is experiencing great separation from Krishna, she is chanting the holy names of Krishna. So, when Radharani chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. She is constantly crying tears. In the Hare Krishna mantra that Radharani chants, that word Hare doesn't refer to Radha. It refers to Hari. It refers to Krishna. It refers to Ram. So when Radharani is chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, she is chanting with this mood that where is Krishna? I'm experiencing separation from Krishna. And a conditioned soul like us, when we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare refers to Radha. And the Hare Krishna Mahamantra itself has Vipralamba and Sambhoga. Very interestingly. The Acharya explained, in the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the way the words are arranged in the form of Sambhoga and Vipralamba. Hare Krishna means Radha Krishna together. Hare Hare means Radha is separate and Krishna is separate. So Hare Krishna means Sambhoga and Hare Hare Krishna means Vipralamba. So in one Hare Krishna Mahamantra, how much Sambhoga and Vipralambas come? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So both Sambhoga Vipralamba is alternately happening. This is our life. This is the life of Gaudiya Vaishnavas. There is constant Sambhoga and there is constant Vipralamba. This is a very, constant factor. Right now, we are in Jagannath Puri Dham and we're going to have darshan of Jagannath. So there is Sambhoga. When you go back home, from day after tomorrow, Vipralamba will start. We will start hankering for Krishna again, So this whole mood of Sambhoga and Vipralamba is a constant mood of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. And that is what all of us have to get used to. And we should start relishing both Sambhoga and Vipralamba. So when you see Jagannath here, you will see one Jagannath. But then when you go back, you will see Jagannath everywhere. You'll you'll be driving in a car, and suddenly you'll find eyes of Jagannath in somebody's car at the back. Somewhere you will see somebody is cooking chapati, and chapati, you'll find Jagannath's eyes over there. Strange things happens once you actually get connected with Jagannath. You can see him everywhere. Somebody saw Jagannath in that plane accident. They saw eyes of Jagannath over there. That's how it is. The whole idea is you can see Jagannath everywhere. Once you experience union with him, then after that Vipralamba becomes more intense. You can see Jagannath everywhere. That's the whole mood. So Mahaprabhu is always feeling this acute pangs of separation from Krishna. And he's always crying. And in crying and in experiencing separation of Krishna, there are 10 stages of separation. The first stage of separation is called Chinta or anxiety. The second stage of separation is called Jagran or wakefulness. The third stage of separation is called Udvega or mental agitation. The fourth stage of separation is called Tanava, means wasting of the body. The fifth stage of separation is called Malinangata, which means uncleanliness. The sixth stage is called Pralapa, which means talking like a mad person. The seventh stage is called Vyadi, which means having disease-like state. The eighth stage is called Unmada or madness. The ninth stage is called Moha or fainting. And the 10th stage of separation is called Mrityu or death. So the first stage of separation is called Chinta or anxiety. So when Radharani experiences separation from Krishna, she is so much in distress, and she starts thinking that in this separation, in this distress, if I die, what will happen to Krishna? And therefore she thinks Krishna will experience so much pain that I will not die. What type of anxiety she is having, see? Our anxiety is like, what is going to happen to stock market? Our anxiety is like, what is going to happen, for our prasad? And our anxieties are so simple. But look at her, Radharani's anxiety. She is having chinta, thinking, if I die, what will happen to Krishna? So I can't die. The second stage of separation is called Jagran or sleeplessness. So Radharani is feeling that I am so unfortunate that I am separated from Krishna, and the only time I can actually connect with Krishna is when I dream of him. When I sleep and I dream of him. But unfortunately, I'm not getting sleep only. So I can't even dream of him. So this is her state of sleeplessness. Then there is something called Udvega or mental agitation. And so Radharani feels a sense of burning in her heart. It is an acute sense of separation. And so she starts thinking that one moment seems like a yuga. I have been separated from Krishna for one moment, but that one moment seems like one yuga. So she's having a burning sensation in her heart, and it's causing her anxiety. Then the next stage is known as Tanushnita, which means the body becomes very skinny. So Radharani is suffering so much that her body becomes very emaciated. And the Acharya explained that Radharani became so thin that a ring that would fit in her fingers is now becoming a bracelet. She's become so thin. And the next stage is called Malina Angata, which means the body becomes disfigured and loses color. Vishakha is breathing so heavily in pangs of separation that her lips have become dried and become blackish. And this is what happens when when there's a lotus flower and snow falls. So what happens in a snowfall? The lotus flower starts withering. It loses its color. And in the daytime when the sun rises, because of the heat of the sun, the lotus starts blooming again. So in this stage, the body dries up. Pralapa means speaking inconsistently. Radharani, in her madness, she's speaking to the bumblebees. So she sees a bumblebee, and the black color of the bumblebee reminds her of Krishna. And she starts thinking that this bumblebee is actually Krishna who's come disguised to me. And she starts having a full-fledged conversation with the bumblebee. This conversation of Radha with the bumblebee is known as Brahmar Gita. She's having a conversation with the bee, and she's talking to the bee as if he is Krishna. This is a sign of delirium. This is a sign of madness. And the higher stage of separation is known as Vyadhi, which means very high fever. Radharani is telling her Gopi companion that please listen to me. I have a very high fever, 109 to 110 degree fever. And this fever is caused by great separation from Krishna. And, the explanation that she gives is that when a goldsmith takes a piece of gold, he puts it in an earthen pot and covers it with another earthen pot and then puts it in blazing fire. So the degree of fire, the more it increases, the gold inside becomes melted. And such degree of fever in the body is unbearable. So she's feeling like so much fire of separation is there that she's feeling a sense of burning throughout her body. And she's just feeling that, she is very, very sick. It is explained that the feeling of separation from Krishna is that fever that burns away your material fever. So we all have, Bhavaroga. So that Bhavaroga, that fever can be mitigated with this fever of separation from Krishna. And then the higher stage is called Unmada. Unmada means madness. So the gopis of Vrindavan, they became so mad about Krishna. As I said, they were trying to see Krishna everywhere, and when they couldn't see him, all of them started enacting pastimes of Krishna. One gopi would become Agasur, and all other gopis would take the form of different coward boys. And then one gopi would take the form of Krishna, and she's entering into Agasur's body, And, one gopi will act as Bakasur, and she would keep her hands open like this, and Krishna is tearing open the beak. And, they would act Kaliya pastime. Krishna would dance on the head of Kaliya. So all the gopis would take these, forms of different heads of Kaliya, and one gopi is taking form of Krishna and she's dancing on the heads of Kaliya. Now imagine this is nothing but madness, isn't it? And the gopis of Vrindavan, when they were enacting these pastimes of Krishna, they were actually experiencing Krishna over there with them. And then a higher stage of separation is known as fainting or moha. So Lalita Devi is writing a letter to Krishna, telling him about Radha's condition. And she is telling Krishna that Radha is so much in separation from you that she is constantly fainting. We are scared that she might die at any time. So this is unbearable separation. And right now I'm writing you a letter saying that she is fainting constantly. Very soon I might write you a letter that she is dead. Please come before that, And then the highest stage of separation is known as Mrityu. So Radharani, she reaches a point where she feels that she cannot live anymore. And she is almost on the stage of dying. Remember that I told you all a story about how Radharani had actually, fallen unconscious, almost on the verge of dying. And at that point, Krishna comes and the fragrance of Krishna's body enters into her nostril and revives her. So this is the levels of Viraha, levels of separation that Krishna Radharani is feeling from Krishna. And that same Viraha Mahaprabhu feels in Jagannath Puri. So Krishna is telling Radha that don't worry, there is actually no Viraha because we are always together. And when Krishna sees the deep separation of Radha, he feels that I want to experience what she is experiencing. And to experience what she is experiencing, he takes the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And when Krishna feels separation from Radharani, that's the form of Jagannath. So this is the whole mood. So Jagannath is experience the separation from Radha. So when Krishna is in Dwaraka, there are times when he wakes up in the middle of the night chanting the name of Radha. And those are the times when he's feeling great separation from Radharani. So that form of Krishna when he's feeling separation from Radharani is Jagannath. And the form of Radha, who is feeling separation from Krishna, is known as Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when we are here in Jagannath Puri, we are experiencing all of that. So Jagannath is one of the different names of Jagannath. One of the names he is known as Sarva Rupa Dhara. Sarva Rupa Dhara means he who assumes all forms. So it is explained in Jagannath Puri, you can experience everything in one place. In Jagannath Puri, you can experience Dwarka. In Jagannath Puri, you can experience Vrindavan. In Jagannath Puri, you can experience Navadvip. All three are in one place. And Jagannath appears to his devotees in the form in which they want him to appear. There are so many stories of Lord Jagannath taking the form that particularly the devotee wants. When Tulsidas Ji was here, he was not at all impressed seeing Jagannath because he was not able to see Ram. And then Jagannath, he made sure that the next time Tulsidas comes in front of him, he appeared as Lord Ram. And Tulsidas was shocked to see the form of Ramchandra appear in Jagannath. So those who want to see Lord Jagannath as Ganesh, he appears in the form of Lord Ganesh also. Those who want to see Jagannath in the form of Tribhanga Shamsundar, he appears in that form also. So in every form, whichever form you want, Jagannath appears in that form. He appears as Narsingdev also. So in whichever form you want, he appears. And you can see him in that form. One time, Prataprudra Maharaj, he came to have darshan of Lord Jagannath. When he stood in front of Lord Jagannath, suddenly he got the shock because on the altar, in place of Jagannath, he was able to see a sannyasi sitting there. So he asked the pujari, where is Jagannath? I can see a sannyasi in golden color, golden complexion sitting on the altar. Where is Jagannath? Pujari said, what are you saying? I can see Jagannath only. What sannyasi are you talking about? Prataprudra Maharaj said, I can see the sannyasi sitting on the altar. Where did Jagannath go? And the pujari could see Jagannath and the Prataprudra Maharaj could see sannyasi. And then eventually Prataprudra Maharaj, when he went to Tota Gopinath and he saw the same sannyasi in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there, that's when he understood there is no difference between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Jagannath. Say Gaura, say Krishna, say Jagannath. There is no difference between the two. So when we are celebrating Rath Yatra, it has to be in the mood of understanding that there is no difference between the two. The pastimes of Lord Chaitanya and the pastimes of Lord Jagannath, they are not different from each other. Jagannath, not only he appears differently to different devotees, but in one day he appears differently, in different forms, throughout the day. In the morning, the Pratakal, the morning darshan, Jagannath is conceived of to be like a small baby Krishna, with soft reddish feet and soft palms, wearing golden ornaments. And he has a sweet smiling face. So you should envision him as crawling in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj with a lump of butter in his hand. So that's the form of Jagannath. That's the form that you should meditate on when you go early morning for darshan. So if you go early morning for darshan to Jagannath, in Jagannath temple, he is in this mood of baby Krishna. So you will actually see him in that form. If you go to Pandharpur, when they wake up, when there is this Mangalarti darshan, and they wake up the Lord and, the snan is going to happen. The early morning time when you go there, at that time you will see they do something very strange. They take a lump of butter and they stick it into the mouth of, Vitthal. Why they stick the lump of butter in the mouth of Vitthal? Because he is a baby Krishna and he wants to be woken up like that. So they actually stick a lump of butter in his mouth. It's just so amazing, That's the form of the Lord that Jagannath takes early in the morning. The noon time, Madhyana, Jagannath is meditated upon as Krishna sitting on a 8-petaled throne, jeweled throne, under a wish-fulfilling tree in Vrindavan. And he's surrounded by various gopis and the cowherd boys. And there are so many sages and yogis and Gandharvas and Apsaras surrounding him. So when you go in the afternoon and have darshan of Jagannath, this is the meditation. That you see him as a, sitting in a lotus posture on a lotus throne. And he's surrounded by all his associates. In the afternoon, so in the dusk time, which is Sandhya, in the afternoon, in the evening time, Jagannath is thought of as sitting on a deer skin in a palace garden in Dwarka, speaking philosophy to Narad Muni and other people. So that's the mood of Jagannath in the evening time. So if you go during dusk, around sunset, this is what Jagannath is doing, speaking philosophy and discussing, things with Narada Muni and all his associates. In fact, it is said dusk, sandhya, is the time that one should be engaged in some spiritual practice. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, during the sandhya, during the dusk time, do some spiritual practice. Randomly you can sing some kirtan, some bhajans, you can do some japa, you can read some books, you can, some spiritual practice you should do during that evening period, basically. And here, Krishna himself engages in philosophical discussions during that period. And night time, Jagannath is meditated upon as a lover of the Gopis. And he is with them in the banks of Yamuna river in Vrindavan performing Rasagulla. So this is the meditation of Jagannath throughout the day, at different points of time in the day. And it is said that Jagannath is a resting place of all divine incarnations. Every single incarnation of the Lord that exists is present in Jagannath. So when you're having darshan of Jagannath, you're practically having darshan of all the incarnations of the Lord in one place. And therefore, if you see, Jagannath has not taken a very particular form, right? He will appear in any form that you want, basically. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, he shares his vision for people of this age of Kali. Mahaprabhu says, Daru jale rupa Krishna prakata samprati darshana snane kare jivara mukati. He says, in this age of Kali, Krishna manifests in two forms, wood and water. And thus, by enabling conditioned souls to see the wood and bathe in water, he helps them become liberated. And what is this wood and water? Daru Brahma Rupe Sakshat Shri Purushottam Bhagirati Hana Sakshat Jala Brahma Sama. So he says, Lord Jagannath is the Supreme Lord himself in the form of wood, and river Ganga is the Supreme Lord himself in the form of water. So just by having darshan of these two personalities, you are liberated. And it is said that Jagannath is considered to be, in different ways. Like for example, it is said, Puna Krishna Rati Hoya Duita Prakara Aishwarya Jnana Mishra Kevala Bheda Ara. So he says, attachment to Krishna is in two categories. One is attachment with awe and reverence. And the other is attachment. It's pure attachment without any reverence. So awe and reverence is Dwarka, when Krishna is as a king and is a big person there. But in Vrindavan, he is no one. He is just a lover boy. Everybody loves him and he loves everybody. That's all. So it says, Gokula Kevala Rati Aishwara Jnana Hina Puri Dvaya Vaikuntadya Aishwarya Pravina. So he says, pure attachment without reverence is found in Gokul of Vrindavan. And attachment with awe and reverence is found in Mathura and Dwarka and in Vaikunta. But it is said, in Jagannath Puri, it is something more fascinating. It is said, in Jagannath Puri, Jagannath is Aishwarya Madhurya Yugala Milan Shri Jagannath. So he is a combination of Aishwarya and Madhurya. So in Vrindavan, you will not find Aishwarya. In Dwarka and Mathura, you will not find Madhurya. But in Jagannath Puri, you will find a combination of both. You will find Aishwarya also here. You will find Madhurya also here. You will find Jagannath coming in Sona Vesh also. You will find Jagannath coming in, as wearing his dress to perform the Ras Leela also. You will find both of this happening in the same day. And that's how Jagannath Puri is. And therefore, great devotees of the Lord find Jagannath Puri to be the ideal combination of all rasas. It is explained, a lot of people have this doubt that why is Radharani not present in Jagannath Puri? Where is Radha? Usually always you find Radha Krishna, you'll always find Radha's presence everywhere. But in Jagannath Puri, you don't find Radha. That's what people think. But it's a misunderstanding. There is actually a deity of Radha in Jagannath Puri in the temple, in the altar. And I'm going to share with you all this very powerful secret of what is this deity of Radha that is there in the altar of Jagannath Puri. It is explained. So, in Jagannath Ashtakam, Adi Shankaracharya says, Parabrahma Pida Kuvalaya Dalodfulanayano Nivasi Niladro Nihita Charano Ananta Sirasi Rasanando Radha Sarasa Vapur Alingana Shiko. So, what is this Vapur Alingana Suko? That's the secret of Radha in Jagannath Puri. It is explained that Radha is present in all ceremonies in Jagannath Puri. Without Radha, no ceremony happens in Jagannath Puri. And the proof of that is there in so many scriptures. It is explained that during Navakalevaram, when Jagannath's body is changed every 12 years, it is explained there is a new tree that is identified, which is selected by the priests. And when this new tree is selected and this log of wood is brought, the pujaris, the priests, chant a special mantra known as Nyasa mantra on the log of wood. And is explained, this Nyasa mantra is a way of spiritualizing that log of wood, basically, and bringing the deity to life. And when, this Nyasa mantra is chanted, the priest is meditating on Srimati Radharani. So when the Nyasa mantra is chanted, then there is something known as Shodasha Nyasa mantra. It is chanted 6 times on in presence of the log of wood. And what is this 6 times the Nyasa mantra that is chanted? The pujari is thinking like this: I meditate on Radhika, who is the most beautiful girl in the 3 worlds. She has a smile on her face, and her complexion is that of the color of kumkuma. Her veil is made of splendid lower cloth. Her dress is delightful and hangs at the end of her braids. She appears in a wonderful youthful form, and her eyes extend to her ears. With her thumb and index finger, she is placing a betel leaf into the lotus mouth of Hari. This is the Nyasa mantra that the pujaris chant when they are, bringing the log of wood to life. So, in Jagannath Puri temple, Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra are there, and there is Sudarshan Chakra. In addition to that, there is one tiny little deity. And this tiny little deity is known as Shayana Vigraha. And this deity is a deity that comes only during sleep. When Jagannath is going to go to sleep, that time this deity is brought out. And is explained, this deity is made up of solid gold. Like 100% gold deity this is. And it is explained, this deity is a combination of Lakshmi and Narayan. And this deity is also known as Ardhanarishwar. Or this deity is also known as Ardha Lakshmi Hari. Ardha Lakshmi Hari means half Lakshmi and half Hari, half Narayan. And this Ardha Lakshmi Hari, this particular deity, is considered to be a representation of Jagannath. So there is no difference between Jagannath and this particular small deity, which is golden in color. And it's explained that this golden deity of Jagannath, it is a deity that is seated. He's in sitting form, and he has 8 arms. It's an 8-armed deity. And 4 arms he's holding Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, which is the symbols that Lord Narayan holds. And in the other 4 hands, he is holding a lotus, a mirror, a book, and a pot of gems, which is representation of Lakshmi. So essentially this deity has Lakshmi and Narayan both. And the most important part of this particular deity is gold. The gold of this deity represents Radha. So because it is complete gold, it is explained that this deity is not different from Radha. And Radharani is called as Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi. It is explained that everything has a color associated with it, right? I'm sure all of you all have heard of aura, this, aura energies, right? So every color has particular energy associated with it. A black color has negative energy associated with it, and white has positive energy associated with it. Violet has particular type of energy. So every color has different energy associated with it. It is explained. Prema also has colors. When the first rise of prema is called rati. When rati becomes more condensed, I mentioned all these different stages, right? Sneha, mana, pranaya, raga, anuraga, bhava, then mahabhava, then ruda mahabhava, adhiruddha mahabhava, madanakya mahabhava, and then madanakya mahabhava, which is the topmost. And it is explained, this complexion of prema, it develops different colors. So it is just like the rising of the sun. If you have seen sunrise, how the colors change, right? The colors change. Initially it's dark, and then suddenly it becomes a little reddish, like orange, reddish, little bit, and then slowly it becomes more orangish, and then eventually it comes to a point where it's full-blown golden sun, right? That is the stages of prema development. Originally, the color of rati is red. But when the rati becomes more and more condensed, eventually it takes a form which is golden in color. And that's the color of Radha. And that deity that is there in the altar of Jagannath is Radharani. So Radharani never is separated from Krishna, but at the same time, she is not directly with Krishna, because this is the concept of Viraha. So in the night time, Jagannath is put to sleep in this particular form of Lakshmi and Narayan together, and it is explained that when the Lord is put to sleep on his bed, they place coconut water next to him, and they put him to sleep, and then the sevaks, they clear everybody out of the altar, and the temple is locked. And it is explained that once the sevaks leave, then Jagannath gets up. And then he goes and does Raslila, in his own style. So this is the whole mood. Yesterday I had mentioned to you all about what Krishna does, and this is exactly what Jagannath does. So this is not different from Krishna and Jagannath. So this mood of separation from Jagannath is what the whole Rathyatra is all about. So now I'm going to share with you all a very beautiful understanding of Bahuda Rathyatra and what the whole festival that we are going to be celebrating and we are going to be a part of is all about. So just to help you all understand Bahuda Rathyatra a little better, I'm going to tell you all something which is pre-Bahuda Rathyatra, which is known as Anavasara. So Anavasara is a period where Jagannath, Baldev and Subhadra, they are in a 15-day rest, or they are in, they're sick basically. So this 15-day Anavasara is a type of mysterious illness that Lord Jagannath, undergoes. And his wife, Lakshmi Devi, is tirelessly taking care of him for 14 days. 14 nights she has not slept at all. And on the 15th night, she goes to a very deep sleep. And when she goes to this very deep, I'm sure in all of you all have had experience, you've not slept for many days. Then after that, you get finally sleep. It's a very deep sleep. Lakshmi Devi goes into a deep sleep. And after she gets up, she finds Jagannath is gone. She is really upset. I took care of him for 14 days. I didn't sleep for 14 days. And then when he gets all right, he disappears without even informing me. So when she gets up, she sees Jagannath is gone. She becomes very panicky. And she approaches the servants of Jagannath. And the servants of Jagannath are not very intelligent. They give some very flimsy explanation of how Jagannath has disappeared. And they say he has gone to his aunt's house. And this really disturbs Lakshmi Devi. And, at that point of time, Bimala Devi, who is considered to be Parvati Devi here in Jagannath Puri, she sees, Lakshmi is very disturbed. So Bimala Devi comes to Lakshmi Devi and she tells her, don't worry, don't panic so much. And Lakshmi Devi tells, you have no idea about my husband. He is very, very naughty and very dangerous. So he says, he has told his people that he's going to his aunt's house, but I know exactly where he is going. And she is very upset. And she, because she's so angry and so upset with Jagannath, Bimala Devi, she gives her a magic powder. So she tells, this magic powder will help you control your husband. Go and take it. So Lakshmi Devi takes this magic powder from Bimala Devi and she goes from Sri Mandir all the way to Gundicha. And it is explained, this magic powder is called Moha Churna. And this Moha Churna is a weapon that will be used to confront all of Jagannath's misdeeds, basically, and his restless mind, So Lakshmi Devi, armed with this Moha Churna, she moves from Jagannath temple all the way to Gundicha. And is explained, of course, she waits for some time, hoping that Jagannath comes back. So first day only, when she gets up, she realizes Jagannath is missing, but she wants to give Jagannath a chance. So she waits for 5 days for Jagannath to turn up. But when she waits for 5 days and sees Jagannath is nowhere coming, her anger reaches another level. And she says, enough of crying and all that. Now let me go and deal with the problem. And she wears the finest of ornaments. And she, calls all her attendants who are known as Devi Dasis. And she goes towards Gundicha Mandir. And Jagannath takes a straight route to Gundicha Mandir, right? It's a straight route on the Grand Road. But Lakshmi Devi purposely does not take that route because she is in the mood of defiance, right? So whatever Jagannath does, she will do opposite. So she's in the mood of defiance. So she takes another route to reach Gundicha. And so when she reaches Gundicha, the festival is known as Hira Panchami, the festival of moving from Sri Mandir to Gundicha. It is also known as Lakshmi Vijay Utsav. And here, so Jagannath has no idea what's happening here, He is enjoying himself, festival after festival is going on in Gundicha, he's in Vrindavan, so he's in a great mood over there, And he doesn't understand there is danger coming towards him, And Lakshmi Devi comes towards him like a storm. And when she reaches Gundicha, she sees Jagannath. And Jagannath has no idea that she has come. He is busy enjoying himself in all the festivities. And the moment Lakshmi Devi comes in front of Jagannath, she throws the powder on him. And she is very convinced that this powder will influence my husband and he will come back. And Jagannath, when he sees Lakshmi Devi, he sends her a garland through one of his representatives. And he tells, through his representative, in 3 days I will come back. Lakshmi Devi, she doesn't even wait for Jagannath to come back. She just leaves from there. And while she's leaving, she is so angry that she orders one of her guards, one of her servants, to go and destroy Jagannath's cart. So the servant goes and actually breaks the cart of Jagannath. One of the wheels, he breaks a little part of it, So this whole festival of Hira Panchami, it happens, 3 days before the Bahuda Rathyatra, basically. And actually, the pujaris, who are Lakshmi Devi's pujaris, they break a little part of Jagannath's cart and, take it away with them, just as a symbolic representation of what happened that time. So, her return journey, she returns very quietly back to Sri Mandir, and she is in a very sad state. And Jagannath is preparing to return. And as Jagannath is preparing to return, he understands that there is going to be great tension over there. And so this whole return of Jagannath and the reunion with Lakshmi Devi is a very stressful affair for Jagannath. He's in great anxiety. What will happen? 9 days I've done whatever I want to do, but now I have to return back home. So what is good? So he's in a great stress. And therefore, the king of Puri, he's aware that Jagannath is in great stress. So he organizes something known as Lakshmi Narayan Bait. So he organizes a lot of gifts for Jagannath to give to Lakshmi Devi. And as a lot of gifts, there is an elephant that is given as a gift. And Lakshmi Devi rejects. She doesn't want it at all because she's too wounded. And then, so Jagannath comes in his chariot towards, Sri Mandir. And when the chariot of Jagannath comes, obviously Jagannath was hoping that Lakshmi will come to receive him and all that. But Lakshmi, she's not interested only. Her heart is very, very distant. And therefore, just to win Lakshmi Devi's heart, so Jagannath comes and stands on the, on the doors of Sri Mandir. But Lakshmi Devi is not at all welcoming him. So now Jagannath is going to do anything to impress Lakshmi. And one of the things that he does to impress Lakshmi, he wears Sonavesh. The Sonavesh that he wears is to show his full opulence to Lakshmi and win her by his display of opulence. So when Jagannath is dressing in that gold and all that great opulence, Lakshmi Devi is not at all impressed because she is the source of all that gold. He's saying, what gold you are wearing? All that gold is mine only. I only have created it. So Lakshmi is like, trying to, Jagannath is doing his best to impress her, but she's not getting impressed at all. And then Balaram and Subhadra are also trying to somehow appease Lakshmi Devi. But when Jagannath, Baldev and Subhadra are trying to appease Lakshmi, the Simha Dwar is closed. And it's a very dramatic closure of the Simha Dwar. They don't get to go in. And all the servants of Lakshmi Devi, they declare to Jagannath, they tell him, inside, your wife Lakshmi is not there. Only goddess Chandi is there. You are thinking that you're going to come to meet Lakshmi, but Lakshmi's expansive Durga is there over there inside, and she has in her one hand, she has a chopper, and in her other hand, she has a head of somebody whom she has just cut, and she's saying, there is no happiness for you here in Sri Mandir anymore. You go somewhere else. The servants of Lakshmi Devi are declaring. So Jagannath is very, very humbled. He starts, pleading to Lakshmi Devi. He starts asking forgiveness. And then he offers Lakshmi Devi a series of gifts. He gives her saris, he gives her ornaments, he gives her so many things just to win her heart. And as Jagannath is giving all these series of things that he is offering, at one point, she is not interested in any of those things. Then Jagannath sends 500 Orissa dishes to please Lakshmi Devi. 500 different types of food items are sent to please Lakshmi. And out of the 500 different types of items that are sent to please Lakshmi, one of the items that is sent is known as Kheer Mohan. Today, we know it as Rasagulla. When Lakshmi sees Rasagulla, that's when her heart melts. When she sees the Rasagulla, her heart completely melts. What gold could not do, what saris could not do, what hundreds of preparations could not do, what elephants could not do, one Rasagulla did it. And that's how Rasagulla has become like a part of the tradition of Jagannath Puri. Only one day Rasagulla gets made in Jagannath Puri, and that is this day. And traditionally, Rasagulla was only prepared in Jagannath temple. This secret recipe, no one knew in the world about Rasagullas. One particular time, one particular year, there was one village close by where there was a big problem. And what was the problem in this village? The problem in this village was that they had so many cows that unlimited liters of milk were getting wasted every day. And this Pujari felt very bad. And then he told the secret recipe of Rasagulla to this village. And that is how Rasagulla came out from the temple of Jagannath, and it's become like a world famous, item now. But it originally was something that, Jagannath offers to Lakshmi Devi to please her. And by eating Rasagulla, Lakshmi's heart melts. So this is a idea that many husbands can try, if they are in big problem. And this is something that, that has worked for Jagannath. So this whole mood of Bahuda Rathyatra is characterized by many, many beautiful aspects philosophically as well as through pastimes. So Jagannath Rathyatra is when Jagannath is going from Sri Mandir to Gundicha, that means from Dwaraka to Vrindavan. And Bahuda Rathyatra is Vrindavan back to Dwaraka. This represents a cycle of life. In life, everything good comes to an end. And in life, at some point, you experience good things also. So it's not that, so Jagannath, all year long, he's hankering for going to Vrindavan, and for 9 days he gets to go. But just like all sweet things come to an end, his Vrindavan pastimes also come to an end, and then he has to go back to Dwarka again. So for 9 days, Jagannath is experiencing Sambhoga with the Vrajavasis. And then all through the year, he's experiencing Vipralamba from the Vrajavasis. So therefore, any time a Vrajavasi comes to him, he's so happy because he's got to experience a little bit of Vrindavan for that moment, right? So that's the whole mood of Jagannath Puri. So when we are in Jagannath Puri, this whole concept of Vipralamba and Sambhoga goes on in cycles in Jagannath Puri. And just like how life is, right? In life also, everything is in cycles. We experience good, happy moments, and then there is a lot of sad moments. And then again there is happy moments. And then again there is sad moments. So this is how the cycle of life is. So even for Jagannath, the cycle continues, basically. So Bahuda Rathyatra is symbolically how Lord Jagannath goes back to his Sri Mandir. And the idea is that the Supreme Lord has to perform his duties. Sri Mandir is where his service is, right? Jagannath is doing his seva in Sri Mandir. And just like Jagannath is doing his service selflessly, though his heart is in Vrindavan, but what to do? He has to go to Mathura. He has to go to Dwaraka. He has to do what he needs to do, isn't it? So though he wants to be in Vrindavan, but he still goes to Dwaraka and Mathura. Similarly, all of us, we have to do our own duties. But in the middle, we get to experience what we want to do, what we always want to do, right? That's how spiritual life is. Now, we have to perform our worldly duties. We have to perform our occupational duties all the time. But once in a few moments, we get time to do what we really want to do. And I'm sure all of you all agree to this. Given a choice, everybody would retire and come to Vrindavan, right? But what to do? You have to do your duties. You have to, serve your families. You have to do your occupational duties. You have to earn money. You need to do what you need to do. But once in a while, when you get a chance, you would be happy to go to Vrindavan and experience Vrindavan in the way it is. Bahuda Rathyatra is a very, very powerful yatra which teaches us this symbolically. From a Gaudiya Vaishnava point of view, Bahuda Rathyatra is a very painful time. Why is Bahuda Rathyatra a very painful time from a Gaudiya Vaishnava point of view? The main Rathyatra from a Gaudiya Vaishnava point of view is a time of celebration. The devotees are happy, the devotees are excited, Krishna is coming back to Vrindavan, there is so much of joy, there is so much of festivity. But when Jagannath goes back to Sri Mandir, the mood of the Gaudiya Vaishnava is not the same. So when we go on Rath Yatra, the mood should not be of celebration, it should be of separation. It should be the thought that, oh, Krishna is going away. And that Viraha, that separation is what we should mainly feel when we are in this Bahuda Rathyatra. In the original Rathyatra, when Krishna is coming from Dwarka to Vrindavan, we are excitedly pulling the Rath and we are really wanting to invite Krishna into our hearts and we are in this mood. In Bahuda Rathyatra, we don't touch the Rath. Because we don't want to send Krishna to Dwarka. We are in the mood of the Gopis of Vrindavan who are following the Rath, who are going along with the Rath. And they're trying to stop the Rath. And somehow they're, telling Krishna, Krishna, don't go, don't go, don't go. So in this Rathyatra, the difference is that we are not going to pull the ropes. But rather, we are going to be staying away from the rope. We are going to be staying away that we're going to be in this prayerful mood that, oh Krishna, don't go away. Don't leave us and go away. So this is the mood of the Rath Yatra. I mean, most people who come for the Rath Yatra don't even know this. They will all be busy pulling the ropes and all that, you know. But I want all of you all to remember this when we are participating in Bahuda Rathyatra. We don't go and enthusiastically pull, you know. It's like taking Krishna away from your heart, you know. So you're saying, no, Krishna, go away from my heart. That's not the mood with which we participate in this Rathyatra. In this Rathyatra, we participate in the mood that, oh Krishna, don't leave us. In this Rathyatra, you can remember the episode of Akrur taking away Krishna from the Gopis of Vrindavan. And the chariot, you know, the Gopis of Vrindavan, they really, really hated the chariot. You know, and they were saying, Akrur, your name should have been Krur. You are taking Krishna away from us. How can your name be Akrur? You are not Akrur, you are Krur. And the Gopis of Vrindavan are in this intense mood of experiencing separation from Krishna, intense mood that Krishna is going away from our hearts. So when we are celebrating Bahuda Rathyatra, obviously it's an occasion of joy for the Dwarkavasis. It is an occasion of joy for the Mathuravasis. But for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas who are in the mood of the Gopis of Vrindavan, our whole identity is connected to the Gopis of Vrindavan. Our whole identity is connected with the mood of the Gopis, right? Gopi Bharatur Padakamalyor Dasa Dasana Das. So we are all in this mood of the Gopis of Vrindavan. We are all in this mood of Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas who follow in the footsteps of the Gopis of Vrindavan. Therefore, our mood while we are celebrating Bahuda Rathyatra has to be this, of Viraha. You can see Jagannath as much as you want. In fact, you should see him more because now he's going to go away. You know, so that's the mood. So you should see Jagannath as much as you can, with your eyes. Just like the Gopis of Vrindavan, they were cupping their eyes and they were seeing Krishna. And through their eyes, they were drinking the nectar of Krishna's beauty. So that's what we should be doing. You should be in this mood of intense feeling of separation that Krishna is going away. And with that mood, we should be absorbed ourselves in the Bahuda Rathyatra. And you can stand on the sides, you can stand behind, you can stand in the front, you can try to stop him. Whatever you want, you can do, which is in alignment with the mood of the Gopis of Vrindavan. You know, so different Gopis had different moods. Some were little on the tougher side. They were pulling the Rath back. And some of them were stopping the Rath from the front. Some of them were following behind very, very sadly. So whichever mood of suits y'all, whichever rasa suits y'all, you can be in that rasa in Bahuda Rathyatra. And the whole mood is that, Krishna is going away. And of course, we are also hoping that Krishna comes back again in our hearts, right? So this is the mood of Bahuda Rathyatra, and this is the mood in which we are going to participate in today's Rathyatra festival. Hare Krishna.